Hello DevOps people, welcome to Full Stack Live, my weekly live coding stream. As always, I love it when these sessions are interactive, so don't be shy. If there's anything you'd like to share, if there's anything you'd like to discuss or ask, just give me a shout in Twitch chat. In today's session, I'd like to continue what I've started Tuesday, which is basically making things more automatic in a Rails application, namely our hosting dashboard. If you haven't been there on Tuesday, I'll explain what I'm going to do. So previously, let's take a step back. What this hosting dashboard needs to do is it takes, of course, commands from users, and when users make changes, things are stored in the database as usual in a web-based application. However, there is one additional step for certain kinds of data. We need to update our system automation software. We are using Chef, so the dashboard needs to upload a so-called data bag item with the updated information. For example, if a user changes a domain name, it needs to be reflected in the web application itself, so it's stored in the database, of course. Additionally, the website's data bag item, which is just a JSON construct, needs to be sent to our Chef server so the infrastructure can respond to this change. This integration between the Rails core application and the Chef server has previously been done by a class that is a delegator on top of the Rails model. We simply initialized this Chef storable instance with, for example, a website instance. And in this class, we override all the relevant methods, namely save and update and delete. And on top of calling the functionality of the original Rails model, we also call Chef save, which is an internal method here that basically triggers a background job that does the Chef update via the Chef API. It's straightforward, I give it that. And oh yeah, I just see I changed this 3 years ago. So over the years, it's becoming clearer and clearer that having to use this delegator class wherever we normally would use the website class itself is pretty tedious. It results in a lot of duplicated code, and whenever we don't use this delegator, Chef updates don't happen. And especially if we use external code that does model updates, for example, the administrate gem that gives us a simple admin interface to all our data. Administrate doesn't know anything about this Chef storable delegator, so it does update the database, but these changes are not reflected on our Chef server. So every time we change something in administrate, we'll have to do an additional step to trigger a Chef update. And that's just annoying, and that's why I've decided to change things. I remember that I tried the approach using a Rails concern, a mix-in class in the past, and somehow I couldn't make it work. And that's when I ended up with this delegator class. To be honest, I don't remember what exactly didn't work, but I can only assume that my Rails foo wasn't strong enough back then to make it work 100%, and I hope I don't end up finding a more fundamental reason during this encounter. But yeah, so what I've built instead in my last session on Tuesday was this chef storable concern that still has a chef save and a chef delete method, and it hooks them simply into the normal active record callbacks for after save or after destroy, respectively. So as soon as we do a model update, we call chef save, and if we delete a model record, we call chef delete. And so it's very straightforward. It's much simpler than even the quite simple delegator before. And the main improvement is that it's completely transparent. We can use, for example, the website model here in the website's controller, and we can simply work with the usual stuff where we, for example, we can simply call website new, or here cluster new website to create a new website, and we don't have to concern ourselves with triggering a chef update, because that will happen automatically via the Rails active record callback. So previously, let's take a look at this. Previously, there we had to use the chef storable decorator everywhere. So here it's a chef storable new website, or I think we should have the same thing for updates. Yeah, I think it's down here. Attempt to update. We have to call chef storable new website and then the update method on this decorator. And instead of that, we can now simply call website update, which is 100% pure and simple Rails code, and it's perfectly obvious that we are updating a model, that the data in chef needs to be updated as well. Happens automatically simply by hooking the concern into the website model like this. I'll simply include chef storable as a concern in my application record class website, and that's it. And yeah, I love it. I love it especially because I was able to resolve all the test errors I got in the first place. So let's make sure that's still the case. Let's simply run rspec. You could also run the whole test suite now, but let's focus on the main integration test suite. However, I'm still not done, because I got rid of a few tests that didn't quite make sense, and I'll have to build the tests for the concern itself from scratch. That's what I'm going to do today. That's the main goal for this session today. Again, if there's anything you'd like to interject, just let me know in chat. If you'd like to tell me how you are today, feel free to do so as well. I'm still nursing a bit of a cold. I hope I don't have to cough too often during this session. I know that's very annoying. And maybe I'll just pop in another throat thingy. Even though it's getting hard to talk like that. I guess it's better than busting your ears. Okay, there's a lot of green where I had a few red Fs before. So things are looking okay. I'll go ahead and run the whole test suite to make sure I haven't committed any style sins. But that will be able to run in the background while I'll think about how to best test this concern. Maybe I should also try and find a helpful article about this. Testing Rails concerns. A few things that look promising. Shared example groups, yeah, that's the path I'm on already. That way we can test up the concern against the actual classes that use them. Yep. Yeah, especially with this comment down here. The advantages of this approach become even more obvious when you start doing things in your concern, like invoking active record callbacks, which is exactly what I'm doing here. So I guess we'll go with simply a block of shared examples that we can include in testing the website model and a few additional models that use this concern as well. Same here, shared examples it behaves like. Okay, this worked well. Let's run rake test for the whole test suite. And then let's see, do we already have a spec support? Yeah, we do. And then we'll just add a concerns directory here. Let's go ahead and do this. New folder. Concerns. And then we create a chef storable spec.rb. like this. Test suite is looking good. But I already see that Rubocop is explaining about the single quotes here. I always use double quotes, and only I use single quotes if it's really necessary. We have a few warnings that I don't really care about, because they are in internal admin scripts that are called from the command line, so SQL injection shouldn't be a problem here. Even though I'll probably fix this eventually, because it's simply bad examples. It sets a bad example. Okay, now we run the test suite again, which will certainly work. So let's find out what our examples here actually need to test. Let's take one more look at the concern itself. So as soon as we save something, so either we create or update something, it should call chef save, and in certain situations it should even create a new job to update the chef server. And I guess that's what we should expect. Let's hook this up with, for example, the website spec. Models, website spec, chef integration, it behaves like chef storable. Okay, that's still the case, but oh, we have models, shared examples, chef storable already. So I guess we'll reuse this. The tests that are in here are mostly they're okay. So we can get rid of this. Okay. So let's create a helper method for the fact it. So just to explain it a bit more, we have models like website that are represented with a data bag item in Chef. Website, however, depends on other model classes. So it has, for example, databases or auxiliary domains. They need to be they get munched into the JSON hash for a website. However, if, for example, we change an auxiliary domain, there must be a way to trigger a databag item update for website, for the parent model. And that's why I have this check in here. If the instance we are dealing with in this test defines a chef databag, it must be a parent model in terms of the JSON hash, and then its own chef parent method needs to return nil. We can't nest deeper than I think we could even nest deeper than one level, but thing is, a model that defines a databag can't have a parent. It can't have its own databag item and a parent with its own databag item. That would be at least strange. So let's make the code a bit more clear. Let's call it model is parent. And if it's a parent, or we could even say if it's naming, what do I call this? Stored in chef. If this model is stored in chef, it can't have a chef parent. So, and now let's see. Let's get to the meat of the thing. If we call save, databag update. Oops. Okay, so we'll create a new instance. Probably should call this create instance and not model instance. Now let's see. So we'll have to create a spy object that allows us to see if things are wired correctly. So allow described class to receive new and return instance. And instance is a double for described class. Expect. What does? How does this happen here? I guess we need a real instance. How do we really test callbacks like that? Maybe update is a bit easier to wrap my head around. Describe update. We create a new instance. We have to set up a spy or something, and then we'll do an update. What exactly can we update? That's a tricky thing with these shared examples, because you don't actually know what you're dealing with. So triggering an update. Can mainly work with the Rails timestamps that are present with all models. If you have any better ideas, I'll appreciate any help. Let's see. What do we have to choose from? Things like created, add. Or updated add. Something like this. No, we'll have to run the tests for the website model. Okay, so far so good. Let's see, can I actually do something like this? Receive. Chef save. Not sure if my memory is correct here. To have received. Okay. Yeah, this doesn't work. Okay, let's see. Can't imagine it'll work this way. Yeah. Expected to receive shift safe. There is not a spy or method has not been stopped. Okay, let's stop the method then. Allow instance to receive shift save and return true. Huh. Interesting. Okay, this worked out of the box. Nice. So we could basically do the same. Now I have a good idea how to test it during create, because we'll simply create an instance which can receive this method call, and then we'll allow described class to receive new and return instance. Describe class create well, nah. Are we getting ourselves into a catch-22 here? We'll have to create an instance that we can test, which then has to be created. That doesn't work. So I basically need to call describe, or basically create instance would be the call, because that calls create. Calls the factory create for this, so it has all the necessary attributes that are required for creating an instance. So we'll start with this. I guess in this case Okay, we can send the create method to a new instance. Guess. So basically we create a new described class new, or even instead of create instance, do something like this. Create let's call it create described class symbolized. And that way we can even use build and don't have to do create, because we just want to call methods on this. And we could even increase our test coverage, because this we can say build. In this case, create. Okay, now we create to describe class symbolized. Then we'll send it the create method, or create signal, and I think we can even call create on this directly, can't we? Hi Christian, welcome to the stream, and thanks for letting me know that you have an issue. You see video flickering. Not sure what exactly would cause the flicker. I don't have anything that's appearing and disappearing. No idea what this could be, but I'll have a look. I'll keep a look out for this. This sounds really strange. I've never heard about this before. Okay, so it still didn't work. There isn't even a method create for this. I guess you can't create as a class method for application record, and but how would this work then? Oh. Yeah, they don't actually call create. You can still try and tricky because it really goes down into the bowels of Rails. I'm not sure if I if I'm even supposed to go this far. It's definitely new territory for me. Expected 1 time with any arguments, received 2 times. It does kind of work, but it's interesting. Why does it call chef save twice? I think delete should work easier. So if anyone on the stream has noticed the same problem as Christian, let me know. It might still be something local on your machine, I'm not sure. Yeah, destroy triggers a data bag update, it does. Okay, so we can focus on the create stuff. That's really... It's hard to wrap my head around it because we are dealing with creation of a model record, and since it's created new, how do I even install the test plumbing beforehand? Or do I simply rejigger my tests so that it is happy with chef save being called 2 times actually? Of course, we could also simply call save on instance, which is basically the same as create. Build and then save should do the same, I guess. So do this. It's a bit of assumptions, isn't it? Still, it's much better than what I had before, because before I didn't even test this chef integration properly. Still doesn't work. Still gets called 2 times. So we could use something like this. Okay. I guess. In this case, we could go back to our original approach and say, okay, describe class to receive new and return our spy, and then we call create describe class symbolized. It's nearer to the create call, I guess. Okay. I'll admit I'm pretty happy with this. So, there are more than the website model that use this. For example, the aux domain model uses this as well. However, aux domain itself should not export itself to Chef. Instead, it should trigger its associated website to trigger an update. So we might have to add a few things to our shared examples here and a bit of logic to distinguish the two scenarios, but yeah, so let's see how aux domain behaves. Of course. I'm really sorry about the coughing. Okay, so far these child models don't implement the toChef and chef data bag methods because they don't have to, actually. But that means I can't rely on their presence in my helper methods here. I could implement chef data bag here and simply say it's the website's data bag. However, there is a parent and chef storable. Oh, this should actually be called chef storable spec. This was just confusing me. Because I'd like to see the original concern here. Oh no, it's not the API, it's models. Here we are. So chef save will first check if there is a chef parent, and then so we could actually go ahead and say aux domain not only has a parent, it also defines a chef data bag, and that's actually websites. Website should do the same. Now we are running into the problem that we are actually testing toChef, that it returns a hash which only the parent models do, and the chef parent should be nil if I guess we'll need two shared example blocks. We'll have a chef storable parent and a chef storable child. Or let's throw this out altogether. So aux to main should actually not return a data back because it doesn't have one. At least this should work, because chef save should be called for create, update, and destroy. However, chef save should behave differently. Which we don't test yet. Okay. So we could say chef save. You would expect something. And in this case, jobs should be performed. If it doesn't have a parent. Oh, that would be an even better check, I guess. Be simply called instance chef parent nil. Okay. And do I check for a job to be scheduled? Okay, yeah. To have enqueued job and then the job name. Nice. And the job is chef save data back item job. It's taking shape. In this case, this example will not run. Can I actually enclose this whole describe block? That would be awesome. Right. Okay. It's too long, okay. So in this case, if I test aux domain, it shouldn't even test this. Ah, of course I can't because instance. Doesn't work. Crap. Would have been so beautiful. But yeah. At least it should run. And Yep, okay.
Our struggle as artists isn't about
If shift save is called for,
rather
it calls the shift parents shift save.
We create things as a reflection of this struggle.
Okay, so what we could do is instance we create an instance, then we need a parent.
That way isn't necessarily a thing you achieve. Rather,
Who's shift save?
mind which you constantly strive for. This all comes from an understanding that ideas aren't static, but fluid, like water. Being like water.
Something like this. Why did it fail? It didn't call it. We could even make this stored in Chef an attribute method in Chef Storable. Then we can call instance Chef Storable. It's a bit nicer. Oh, of course. We've never coupled the parent to the instance. Of course, we have to return our parent. our mock parent here. I'm not too happy about the chef starable name, but let's see if this works first, and then maybe I can think of a better name. But I'm happy to see that I'll probably be able to wrap this up in time. Well, I still have 2 minutes to think of a better name than Chef Storable. Let's call it Chef Exported. If this model gets exported to Chef. See. My gut tells me that this whole "is this model exportable to Chef" should be a class method and not an instance method. Because it's not an attribute of individual instances, it's actually an attribute of the class itself, and that way we could actually wrap these tests in described class dot chef exportable. Okay, this works. How about the website spec? This should work as well. And it should actually enqueue our job. Yes. This way we could even So chef data bag would probably be a class method. And for example, the instances could have a chef data bag method. And that way, website, simply redefine chef data bag for its own class. And now we could actually do something like if described class chef data bag present. I guess it could even use something like scenarios, contexts. But let's see if this works. Chef save launches a chef to update job. Yeah, it does work. Okay. actually use a context here. Let's swap these two. Nah. No, I don't like that. On the other hand, I'd like to be able to see which tests apply to this particular class, so that's why I'd like to have a fixed context here that always gets displayed, and then if the described class has a chef data bag, and then we'll have the other context. That only gets triggered with if this is nil. I have the feeling there's still a bit tight coupling in there, but it does the job, I'd say. For expert levels, chef save largest update job, and in the case of Ops domain, child model, so it's out to the parent. Okay, so this it behaves like needs to be added to database spec. That is service spec. SSH key spec. And that's it. Now let's run the whole test suite. Oh, I'm going overtime big time today. But we'll soon be finished here. It's just too satisfying to see it working. And this is a huge improvement. Because previously these submodels didn't even get tested this way, and it didn't even check if there is an update job. Well, we couldn't test it because a save of the model didn't even trigger a chef update if we didn't use the decorator class around it. Why is this getting loaded twice? That shouldn't be the case, but that's a minor issue. I guess it's because I've called it Chef Starable Spec. That probably was the reason it was called Chef Starable in the first place. Because it's not actually a spec. And I guess that spec helper, yeah, calls the shared examples here. And it's getting loaded because it's called sec as well. So how about we get rid of this? If the spec suffix gets it loaded anyway. Look at that, it works for every of these classes. Nice. So let's run rake with the whole test suite. I can't see why it wouldn't work. I guess it would depend on the shared examples being loaded first. Yeah. Okay. Then let's do another suffix here. just to be able to identify chefstorable.rb is the business logic and chefstorable shared is the tests. I should have called rake test because I was just confused why rake starts with rspec. It should do a few other test suites first, but okay. I should probably do something about how long this test suite runs. But at least we're almost done. Somehow my machine is really slow today. Well, yeah. Okay, the test suite should be finished soon, and I guess that does the trick. I actually have successfully replaced a decorator class that has to be used explicitly with a concern that gets used implicitly and transparently. And I've greatly improved the test suite because it actually does test that this additional logic is executed. And I'm pretty happy about that. And it only took me 2 live coding sessions to do it. And I've refreshed my knowledge about concerns, and I've learned about testing in the context of active record callbacks, so I'd consider this a full success. And that's it for today. Sorry for taking 20 minutes more than usual. I hope you found it interesting nonetheless. Please hit the follow button to follow my stream and tell your friends and colleagues about it. If you have any questions or feedback, feel free to get in touch with me via Twitter. My handle is @fullstacksensei. I'll upload a recording of this session to YouTube. You'll find the recording at youtube.fullstacksensei.com. Make sure to subscribe there as well, so you get notified when my recordings go up. And thanks for watching. See you next time. Take care.